Hello again. Well, another month down, another day closer to the inevitability of change. But, first off, hobby progress. So, you may have seen I put them up in a little short. I finished off at least my monochrome half of my Transmortis. Means I've still got to work on my non-nightmare versions, but we can only hope that they will release the students in this style and I can switch them over. I also did some work on my Red Chapel. Mostly got at least my named characters done. We're working our way through the Bells and the Doxies at the moment. As though given that half of them are going to go, I still like to finish them up so I can have my rainbow set up and going. As for games, I've primarily been playing these two keywords. Is there what I'm planning to kick into the tournament? Spoilers for later. But what I can say is Transmortis is just good. Like, no complaints. The constant card draw just keeps you topped up. Well, that and not just the summons, because of course his title doesn't summon as much, but Gravity Well is amazing. The Valor Victorian's just a great beater, and of course with Resurrectionist's great upgrades, you can just guarantee so much stuff. As for Seamus of course has been a lot of fun. He's a hard master to work out what to do with. Because of Secret Passage, he's great for scheme running, but do you waste him on scheme running when you could be killing something a turn? Ideally you do both, but not always the case. I've also found Rotten Bells hit a lot harder than they look. And when you can drag someone into your bubbles, so they're getting Scarlet Temptation from everywhere and negatives on their willpowers, it just does so much work. But on the topic of tournaments, so second tournament for the year. Now, as I said, planning to take Von Stuck and Seamus into this. And really, there's only a couple of reasons. I wanted to give Karai a rest to spread out how many games I play, and I'm actually missing a couple models for McMorning that I don't want to proxy in a tournament. So that just leaves us these two by process of elimination. So on to the games. So round one, Plant Explosives, Wedge. Now I'm thinking Von Stuck, specifically the title here. Mostly because the Light of Helios lets me drop in more scheme markers, great for information overload, or maybe even espionage and ensnare. In Your Face, I think they're very good at, with the Valedictorian being able to hunt down and punch most things pretty hard, and I can keep her and Anna away from my master pretty happily, and possibly even deliver a message. Really, what schemes I take comes down to my opponent, but I think I've got some good bomb carriers, some good hitting power, and some ability to place schemes all over the board. I don't know, we might try Necropunks. The leap's a bit unreliable, but with study opportunity, maybe I can get that card frequently enough to really use it effectively. As for round two, Raid the Vaults in Standard. Now here I'm really liking Seamus. I guarantee I have all those vault markers to jump between for Secret Passage, and they're going to want to be near them, which leaves them nicely open for Seamus to come and 50 lock them. Hold up their forces, Cake Prisoner. Great with all the bells, just luring people wherever I want them to be. And even, I don't know about Power Ritual, Sweating Bullets on Madame Sibyl with probably the Grave Spirit's Touch for some regeneration, be good. And maybe even let them lead depending again on what my opponent brings. But a pretty standard strategy. Lure them where I want them, away from the vaults, holding their forces up, and just trying to kill everyone I don't want to just sit around. Now, round 3 was the sort of hardest for me, as you do have the ballad markers for Seamus to jump between. I think he's good at let them bleed, and possibly even outflank. But overall, I decided to go back to Von Stuck. Again, probably going back into the title. We have a few good models who can get around and vote. Protected territory, I don't know too much about. Let them bleed, I think again I'm good at. Deathbeds, I think we're good. We can put out again some scheme markers with the Light of Helios and other abilities to score that by surprise or possibly ensnare. And we might bring in something like Enslaved Spirits to try and sneakily get outflanked. Depends on how. Again, a lot of this comes down to what your opponent brings, as do a lot of Malifaux games. But that's the plan going into these ones, so we'll see how we go. As for placement with the edition change, I don't know how seriously a lot of people are going to play, so I don't know what sort of standard to hold myself to. I think really we're just going to go for our best, and if we can continue to get close to that top 50%, great. If we drop down a little, I'm not so bothered at the moment. But that's it for this now. We'll update you next month on how it went. So, the last thing to talk about, the hot topic at the moment, of course, 4th edition. Now, I have one very important question to ask about this, which is, why does Seamus's hat have an ear? And that, of course, we've seen the new keywords, Ampersand and the Banished, which both look amazing. It's going to be a while before I get back around to those factions, but so tempting. But other than that, I've said before that I don't really tend to play in beta tests because I find myself just not actually doing the work of giving proper feedback. But, I've been playing this game since Rising Powers, whenever that did come out. So, long enough that I feel like I should at least try and voice some opinions. Now, I'm not the most competitive of players, but I do like it when it's a nice, balanced game, especially when you can find opponents sort of at your skill level. I think create the best games possible. So, after the tournament, I certainly will actually be trying to break from my normal way of doing things and actually play some beta tests and try and give some feedbacks. Maybe even try and do some full battle reports on them. If I end up doing videos on that, I don't know. Or they just end up in the forum, I don't know. But that's the plan. We'll see how we can go. But for now, that's me, Captain Steel, signing out.